skipper Terry Francona, the umpires, exchange lineup cards. And here's the way Francona's lineup will go tonight. Marlon Anderson at second base, Doug Glanville at center field, Abreu the first base, got Rolling at third, Abreu at right field, Kevin Sessick plays left, Gary Bennett catches about at seventh, Abreu hits eighth and plays shortstop. On the mound pitching, batting ninth, right-hander Portugal. Defensively, the Cincinnati Reds, they'll go Boone, Jackson, Steins, and Casey around the horn. In the outfield, Dimitri Young, John Nunnally in center. Roberto Pedagini is the right fielder. Eddie Taubensee will be behind the plate, and on the mound, the right-hander, Steve Parris.
Steve Parris, who got his first major league win this year in 3 years. On the mound, he's 6-4 in 15 starts with a .355 earned run average. Pitched 96 in the third innings, giving up only 84 hits and a good strikeout to walk ratio, 29 walks, 76 strikeouts. Opponents are hitting .230, which is 8th in the National League. Right-handers only 175, but left-handers give them a bit of trouble.
And a left-hander will start it off for the Phillies tonight. Marlon Anderson starting his 6th game, all at second base. And Parris's first pitch is a strike call by Mark Wegner, the home plate umpire. It'll be Anderson, Glanville, and Bronya for the Phillies as we start on a beautiful, cool fall type night here in Cincinnati. Marlon fouls it away, out of play. Steve Parris originally signed by the Phillies. He was a 5th-round pick back in June of 1989. 6 foot, 195-pounder out of Joliet, Illinois. Now makes his home in Plainfield, Illinois. Has been plagued by arm trouble throughout his career, but has been pitching very well lately for Cincinnati.
He's really gotten it together. His last 7 starts, he's 5-1 with a 2.2 earned run average.
So he's come up with a pretty good changeup.
He's going to sink his fastball, use his curveball, keep the hitters off balance, and as you said, that changeup is one of the things that has helped him to become much more successful this year.
Marlon Anderson hits it hard to right field, and a spectacular leaping catch by Roberto Pedagini, playing his first game out there in this series, 1 away. First inning. Here's the way Jack McKeon's Cincinnati Reds will go tonight. Damien Jackson leads off and plays shortstop. Roberto Pedagini in right field. Sean Casey, the first baseman. Dimitri Young plays left and bats cleanup. Eddie Taubensee, the catcher, hitting 5th. Aaron Boone will be at third base and bats 6th. John Nunnally in center field hits 7th. Chris Steins, the second baseman, bats 8th. On the mound, pitching and batting 9th, right-hander Steve Parris. Phillies defensively go with Scott Rowland, Desi Relaford, Marlon Anderson, Rico Bronya around the infield. Kevin Sessick in left field, Doug Glanville in center, and Bobby Abreu is the right fielder. Gary Bennett another start behind the plate tonight. On the mound, the veteran right-hander Mark Portugal.
Portugal 9-5 with the 4.59 earned run average. Pitched 158 and 2/3 innings, 182 hits, a lot of hits given up, only 28 walks and 98 strikeouts. Opponents hitting 288 off him. He has struggled. He's only won once in his last 5 starts, but part of the reason is 3 of those starts have been at home, and he's back on road turf, which he loves.
Pitched well when he was here for the Cincinnati Reds for a couple years. Starts it off with Damien Jackson. Takes a ball outside. Jackson has started the last 3 games with Barry Larkin on the shelf with a sore ankle, and they don't think Larkin will play the rest of the year. Jackson now the Cleveland Indians organization. 2-0 pitch. 3-0. There's Barry Larkin, the all-star shortstop for the Reds, and out with that ankle problem. Portugal works quickly to 3-0, and there's a strike. 3 balls, 1 strike.
Portugal, as I said, pitches very well on the road. 7-2 in 14 road starts with a 3.22 earned run average. 7 of his 9 wins have come on the road.
And Jackson taking all the way, 3-2. Jackson hit 261 at AAA this year, 25 stolen bases, so he can run if he gets on. Changeup, 3-2 changeup, and walks him.
Well, Porch doesn't walk a lot of people. See the walks per 9 inning. He's 5th in the league, only 1.59, and that's something that generally does not plague him, especially a leadoff walk. He can generally throw a strike anytime he wants.
The last time out against Montreal, he gave up 12 hits in 4 2/3 innings, but no walks. Now here is Roberto Pedagini, and low with a fastball. Pedagini batting .331 this year at AAA Indianapolis, who mentioned won the league's most valuable player award. 24 homers and 109 runs batted in. He has bounced around with several organizations. Pitch to him is line foul down the left field line. It'll slice out of play.
Well, Porch has bounced around also, and that's part of the reason. Might feel more like he's at home when he's on the road. There you see his 14 starts, 7-2, 92 and a 1/3 innings, and a good ERA. And look at that, hits per 9 inning and walks. And he just, you know, I think he enjoys being on the road. He has moved around a lot, as I said. And that's maybe he feels like he's at home when he's on the road.
He wouldn't be the first guy in this business.
I mean, you ask Porch, you didn't. I asked him, I mean, point blank.
Good play by Anderson. Double play. Marlon Anderson leaps and grabs Pedagini's BB over to Rico Brogna. 2 outs.
Well, great play by Marlon Anderson. Very athletic here. Gets up, times this ball perfectly. It's hit hard. He gets a changeup. Pedagini just waits back. Marlon way up in the air on it, and a strong throw to first to get the double play. And that's just a very athletic play there. That ball was hit hard, had a little spin on it. Rico with the nice stretch at first to double him up.
Sean Casey, the batter. That looked like the same type of liner that ate Damien Jackson alive last night, and Scott Rowland turned it into a double.
Which would have ended the game for Cincinnati with the win.
Yeah, it had a lot of topspin on it. Casey, another guy from Cleveland, as he swings and misses. They've done a lot of dealing, has general manager Jim Bowden of the Cincinnati Reds, with these Cleveland Indians. Casey came over right before the season started for Dave Burba. There's Jack McKean, in his day known as Trader Jack when he was a GM. Change up. Brogna. So just like that, Portugal's out of the inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left on base. We are quickly through 1 tonight and no score. Impression of 98 takes us to an August 30th cliffhanger. Leading the Giants by a run in the 8th inning, the dangerous Jeff Kent came up with first and second, nobody out. He promptly lined the pitch to Alex Arias. It's going to be a triple play. That was some play. Everybody seemed stunned on that one.
Nobody knew what was going on. That's what was so funny.
Scott Rowland, what a series he's having here in Cincinnati. He doesn't want to leave. Of course, a lot of people don't want to leave to go to Florida.
No, that's for sure. I got to believe right now that Scott Rowland is in a slump. Because that's the first single. He's had trouble hitting singles lately.
Batted safely in 9 straight, and he has been on base in 9 out of 11 plate appearances.
Now you talk about guys at the end of a season going through the motions. Not Scott Rowland. Look at that, 6 for 8 with 2 doubles, 3 home runs, 5 RBIs. I mean, and he I won't say single-handedly, but he had a lot to do with winning that game last night. As you said, that ball at Damien Jackson, the ball that went off his glove, he turned into a double. Nobody else would do that. Or very few players in this league would be able to turn that ball into a double that he did last night.
It was funny hearing from Brad Mills saying that he was telling to him, stay here, and all of a sudden it was whoosh.
Good job.
See ya.
Hold up, good job.
Right. Right. It was one of those hold up, good jobs. Yeah. First base runner of the first hit of the game belongs to the Phillies. Bobby Abreu had a big walk in that game last night as he kept an inning alive.
I think Bobby Abreu right now would love nothing more than to see Rolen at second base.
Got
the way he hits with men in scoring position.
Right, he's got that hole on the right side and maybe get a first and third out of this if he can pull Parris here. And he takes it low. Bobby Abreu is another guy who looks like he's gotten better as the season goes along. Well, they have a player in this guy for a lot of years, as they know they have one in Rolen.
They've got a really good young nucleus.
Good eye by Bobby Abreu, and he draws a walk. He's been walking quite a bit lately. So 2 on and nobody out for Kevin Sefcik, who's playing in left field tonight. Sef led off in the game last night and played left field. This is the 31st game that he started, his 11th in left, and he takes a look at John Vukovic to see if they might bunt here, which they probably won't. The bottom of the order.
Sefcik in the second half hitting .354, and I think a lot of that I think you can attribute to Kevin Jordan, the talk that Kevin had with him about, you know, playing off the bench, being a bench player and accepting that role. And Sefcik was about that time when he had that talk, and he said, you know, that's what I did. I accepted that I'm a bench player right now. Sure, I want to play every day, but he's accepted that role, and I think Francona's done a good job also of getting him some regular playing time.
Sef's hit safely in 15 out of his last 18 starts at a .357 clip. 1 ball and no strikes. And we mentioned no surprise, no bunt there, and it's 2-0. Phillies have had a lot of leads in this series, and Terry Francona talking there to Chuck Cottier says, you know, it's just it's an aggravating type of series because they can never seem to keep a lead. There's a strike.
I think Chuck Cottier has been a big help also to Terry Francona. Francona coming in as a rookie manager, managing the minor leagues, but never at the big leagues, and he got a lot of experience on that bench between Cottier and Vukovic, Galen Cisco, Hal McRae. I mean, it's a good coaching staff, and guys like playing for him.
3-1 to Sefcik. So 1 pitch away from loading them up. Gary Bennett due to bat next. Bennett catching tonight and batting 7th. There's Bennett, who's done a really good job since he's come up after Mike Lieberthal and Mark Parent were shut down for the year. 3-1 to Sef. Fouled away, right side, out of play.
Well, it's funny how this game works. I mean, Gary Bennett, I mean, there was a chance he was not going to be called up, and then with Lieberthal not being able to come back, Mark Parent getting hurt, he comes up, and I think he's, you know, he's trying to prove a point, and I think he's doing a pretty good job that, hey, I can help you out up here. I can back up for Lieberthal or Estelé or whatever the situation may be.
The runners go, and the pitch is hit down the first baseline, fair roll and a walk home. Here comes Bobby Abreu. He's going to score. The ball bounces away from Pedagini, and here goes Sefcik all the way to third. He'll have a stand-up triple for Sef, his second triple of the year. And the Phillies quickly lead this one 2-0.
That ball kicked back towards the infield down there in that corner. And that allowed Sefcik to get the third. I mean, going hard the whole way with Rolen and Abreu scoring easily. He gets a fastball here. He's sitting on a fastball. It's away. He just goes that way with it, just inside the line right there, just about a foot inside the bag. Now, as it goes down over that bullpen mound, it hits the corner of that cutout, the padding there. So Pedagini has to come all the way back in for it.
Gary Bennett pops it foul out of play. The Reds have their infield in already. Here in the second inning, they're going to play it in, try and cut off a third run. I let them running 3-2 and nobody out. A lot of times managers don't like to do that because you're looking at line drive triple play.
You know, to me, what's the odds of a guy doing that? And I think that's one thing that, look at Kevin Sefcik's not going to strike out a lot. He doesn't strike out a lot. And to me, I think the odds are better that a guy like that will put it in play and not a line drive.
Bennett swings and misses. Bennett, in the 5 games that he has started, batting at a .529 clip. He has 2 runs batted, and he's yet to pick up a major league extra base hit. But he's done a really good job since the Phillies brought him up, batting .474 overall, trying to get the Phillies another run here in the second. Ooh.
I think Gary Bennett said the same thing you did. Or was that you?
That was me. I thought that was a strike.
That was pretty close.
Might have been guessing.
2 strikes. You don't want to be guessing. You got to look for a fastball and adjust to everything else.
There's the breaking ball, and it's hit right to the shortstop Jackson, so playing the infield in works. No run can score on that. Sestak remains at third, 1 away for Desi Relaford.
With the infield in, he just missed with the fastball inside that he took. Then he gets a breaking ball. He hits it fairly hard, a 2-hopper, but there's no chance for Sestak with the infield in.
So Desi will bat. He has batted safely in 8 straight and 12 out of 13. And the infield, of course, remains in. Well, he's trying to get a fly ball here or a base hit to pick up a 3rd run. Desi's really picked it up lately. There you see what he's done with runners on third, less than 2 outs. And he has one there in the person of Kevin Sestak with 1 away.
Desi was just saying yesterday, he said the season's ending too soon for him.
Fly ball center field. Nunnally makes the catch. Here comes Sestak. The throw is late. Sestak slides around Eddie Taubensee. A sacrifice fly. A run batted in for Relaford. His 41st run batted into the year, and it's 3-0 Phillies.
A nice slide by Sestak coming in there because Taubensee had that ball in front of the plate. The ball was not hit that deep. Nunnally makes a pretty strong throw to the plate. So as soon as that ball hits that glove, Sestak is off and digging hard, head down, and good slide right around Taubensee. Gets the plate with his hand.
Taubensee went after him just in case, as a strike is called on Portugal, batting at .239 with 4 doubles. Portugal's a .197 lifetime hitter. His teammates congratulate Desi Relaford, and Mark Portugal has himself a 3-0 lead. Fouled away. Of course, the Phillies seem like they've led in every inning of this series. Tyler Green had a bunch of leads. They had leads in the game last night. And then they finally wound up tying it in the 9th with 2 outs and 2 strikes, and then won it in extra innings. There's a line drive base hit for Portugal, taken a 1-hop by Dimitri Young. So Portugal dumps a single in the left off a breaking ball, and he'll look for the warm-up jacket.
Portugal can hit. He gets out in front a little bit, but he still, for a pitcher, kept those hands back a little bit, and it's not a bad breaking ball there. And that ball is down and away. He can swing the bat.
And it's his 12th hit of the year. And to the top of the order, Marlon Anderson, robbed by Roberto Pedagini in his first at bat. In a line drive to right field. Outside to Marlon. 306 at AAA this year. 32 doubles. As he was the International League Rookie of the Year. Phillies with a 3 spot here in the second. And Anderson fouls one back, 1-1.
Went outside the lines again.
It's your scoring system. You use a lot more pencil though.
I use a lot of eraser.
You could be a stockholder in the Whiteout Company. You and Andy Musser. 2 balls and 1 strike. Low. Good eye by Anderson. Parris in his last outing went 5 innings, 5 hits, gave up 4 runs, 2 earned, a walk, and 6 strikeouts, and beat the Cubs here, or at Chicago last Friday, as the Reds swept them. High, he walked him. So the Phillies are having a good inning here in the second. And they will send their 8th batter to the plate, and the person of Doug Glanville, who popped up to second his first time up. Dennis Menke there, former hitting coach for the Phillies, now coach here with the Reds. And
they're going to stir a little bit down there. Glauber's going to get up and start throwing.
Keith Glauber was in the ball game last night. Of course, everybody was. They used 8 pitchers in that game last night, did the Reds. Glauber was the final pitcher used.
He just pitched 2/3 an inning, so he should have a lot left.
Well, it's tough to run out of players in September, but the Reds were working on it last night. 1 ball and no strikes to Doug Glanville. Strike called, 1-1. Doug now with 661 at bats. You see what he's hitting with runners in scoring position, but has dropped off. So he struggled a little bit offensively the second half of the season. Breaking ball popped up foul, out of play. There he is with 661. That's updated with 1 here tonight. Dante Bichette second. Interesting, 2 guys who led off most of the year, Womack and Glanville, with all those at bats, and neither one of those guys walked very much. Foul tip, held on to by Taubensee, struck him out. 8 batters come up in the inning. Phillies hit the Cincinnati Reds with a 3 spot with 3 hits, and they leave 2. 4th inning, Phillies with a 3-0 lead here at Synergy Field in Cincinnati. We mentioned Harry Callis has the night off. Larry Anderson is headed over to radio, so it's my great pleasure to bring in Scott Graham, who's worked with us for so many years on the radio side, to come over and do a little TV tonight. Welcome.
Pleasure to be here, Wills, and of course the Phils with the lead right now. Been similar to the type of games that we have seen so far in the series. Starting pitching really has had its difficulty, and Steve Parris certainly had more than his share of that in his time of the game. Phil step in here in the 4th inning with Mark Portugal leading things off. Portugal has had a fine season with the bat, 1 for 1 tonight. Came into the game with a .239 average.
Now Portugal is one of those guys who helps himself in a lot of ways. He's a good fielder. He holds runners on. You know, he has a real good feel for the game, and you know, as you just said, obviously he helps himself a lot with the bat.
Glauber missing inside. We were talking over on the radio side about Mark Wegner's strike zone being a little bit on the small side early on in this game. Parris seemed to have an awful difficult time adjusting to that.
Yeah, I think so. We had him in the game on Sunday, and I think he could. I think you're right. I think he called strikes and balls. Whitey would have loved this guy. He's a good-looking young umpire.
Did he really like any umpire?
He liked the ones that had real small plates.
That's straight back toward us.
Yeah, it's a tough booth here. Be careful.
Now, this is my first experience being in a booth with you where bailing could be a possibility.
It's not a possibility.
Probability?
It's not even a probability. It will happen.
Okay.
It's a certainty.
Virtual certainty that Wheels is going down. Glauber's next offering to Portugal is once again fouled back. That's more toward the radio booth. Probably missed by a glass panel or two, and the count remains at 2-2 to Mark Portugal. Good look at Glauber, who came in as one of the 8 pitchers that Cincinnati used last night. Final pitcher in the game. 2-2 pitch, and another base hit for Portugal, and it looks like this one's going for extra bases. All the way back to the wall, and he will just chug into second base with his 5th double of the year. Portugal is 2 for 2 tonight, and he's a leadoff base runner for the Phillies here in the 4th.
He has 20 lifetime doubles with that 5th double. He also has a triple and 2 lifetime home runs. You throw Portugal a fastball, and he'll hit it, and that's what he got right there, is a fastball right down the middle. And he whacks it into the alley in left center field, and he's very content with a double because he's got a lot of leg problems. He wears that heavy knee brace.
That is a terrific and very compact swing he's got. He does have 1 career triple. It was a while back. There you see it, 5 on the season now for Portugal, and the leadoff base runner for the Phils donning the jacket here in the 4th inning. That brings on Marlon Anderson. Squaring to sacrifice. His first bunt attempt is foul. Marlon officially 0 for 1 tonight. He was robbed by Roberto Pettigini. in the top half of the first inning and then walked as part of the Phillies' 3-run second inning.
I think Marlon did that on his own because, you know, Portugal's not the easiest guy in the world to bunt over. And maybe they're thinking they're going to try that because if he hits a ground ball to the first baseman, Casey might throw over and try and get Portugal at third.
Although with a right-handed throwing first baseman, that's a tougher play.
Well, no, they haven't bunted.
Apparently that's the case. They're hoping that Portugal will get the jump, and obviously if you can, you're going to try to bunt it down the third base line. The pitcher's falling the other way. Terry Francona. 1-1 count to Marlon Anderson. Looks like Glover's doing a little nibbling here on the outside part of the plate.
Yeah, well, he's doing what you have to try and do in this situation with a left-handed batter and keep it away so they can't pull it as easy. And it looked like Marlon was on his own that time. He's been a pretty good situation hitter since he's been up here.
That he has. Couldn't get the bunt down. It ticks off the bat and hits the screen behind. So now the bunt will be off with a 2-2 count. You mentioned situationally with runners in scoring position, 2 for 5 so far. Has knocked in a couple of runs while batting .400.
And what you don't want him to do is swing the balls away when there's a runner on second base and he's trying to get a pitch to pull to get Portugal over.
So Anderson still without a sacrifice since his call-up. And now that 2-2 pitch. And that's going to be a line drive to center field. Portugal's going to get held at third base, as Nunnally showed the arm earlier. And there's no reason to take any chances with nobody out in the inning. But Marlon Anderson with his first hit on the night, and the Phils have something going here in the top of the fourth.
Well, Marlon Anderson, everything you hear about him offensively, he can do some things. I mean, that was a tough pitch he hit there, and he just golfs that into center field. And Portugal got a late break off third, but as Scott says, with nobody out, Buki is not going to take a chance on running Portugal into contact.
No, and just from that stride right there, that should pretty much tell you where Portugal's staying.
It also would tell you that he's going to stop no matter whether they held him up or not. The anchor where the flaps were down.
You see guys run through stop signs a lot. Do you ever see guys stop through run signs?
He's got a chance.
Doug Glanville the batter now with runners on first and third. Glover's first misses. The appeal down to first base, and Jeff Nelson says no swing. 1-0 to Doug Glanville, who's 0 for 2 here tonight.
Reds are going to play the infield double play depth, so they're content to give up a run here for 2 outs if they can get them.
While we're taking a look over at Marlon Anderson, who's 1 for 1 in the stolen base category. Don't expect to see him going necessarily here. Glanville hits it back this way. Chris Wheeler takes one move back and to the right. And the count 1-1 now on Doug Glanville. (11 for 18 with runners on third and less than 2 out. Great opportunity here for Doug Glanville to get the Phillies' 4th run. And the throw over to first base just to keep Anderson close. Glanville now, this is his 663rd at bat. That's the most by a Philly since Juan Samuel back in 1985. He had 663 as well. And that's line to left field. Young's going to hold his course. Now will Vukovich send him? He will. And Young's going straight into second base with it. So the sacrifice fly for Doug Glanville gets the run home and extends the Phillies' lead now to 4-0.
Well, Dimitri Young is really a first baseman that they have in the outfield for his offense, and he does not throw very well. So even with Portugal on and that ball not hit that deep to left field, Vuk's going to send Portugal. That hit a high breaking ball there. Portugal tags, and Young doesn't even throw in. Young did the right thing. He throws a second and keeps the double play in order.
Well, with that kind of break, he really didn't have much of a chance considering how deep he was, and it being a line drive, he was also back at his heels. Rico Brogna's 0 for 2 tonight. Bills with a man on first and 1 out, 1 across here in the 4th inning. And there goes Glanville. Make that Anderson diving into second base uncontested. Been wondering a little bit earlier about the fact that Ed Taubensee has only thrown out 20% of base runners, and that time Anderson stole it on the pitcher.
Yeah, he got a great jump there. And Taubensee does the right thing when he just holds on to it. Marlon Anderson has the potential to be a very exciting offensive player.
2 for 2 in the stolen base category. And he now moves into scoring position. 1 ball count to Rico Brogna. That one sails a bit. And now Glover's stepping off. For Brogna, the career high 102 runs driven in, make that 104 runs driven in this year. 294 hitter with runners in scoring position. That's a long look in.
Well, Anderson was leading off second, and he's about ready to try and steal third, and all of a sudden the pitcher turned around, Glover, and saw that, and I think they want Jackson to come in a little bit and hold him.
Maybe a little bit unorthodox with a left-handed batter in the box and a clear shot at third for Taubensee. That's hit on the ground hard. Nice play made by Steins, and the runner moves up, so the Phils now have Anderson at third base with 2 outs, and Scott Rowland coming to the plate. Here's your chance to check out over 100 young baseball prospects from various organizations, including the Phillies, Eric Valent, Adam Eaton, Rob Berger, Tom Jaquez, Brandon Marsters, who are going to play for the Delaware Stars. The season begins on September 22nd. It ends November 1st. Tickets $7 for adults, $3 for children. Delaware Stars home games will be played at Blue Rock Stadium. For more information, call 302-888-BLUE. Scott Rowland looking at ball 1. He has been an awfully tough out in this series.
He's padded his offensive numbers here at the end of the year. Scott has gotten stronger the last 10 days to 2 weeks. It looks like the cool weather's really helped him.
And next offering, catching the inside corner. One of the things I've also noticed in this series, Wheels, is that he's been doing a lot more first ball swinging.
Well, you like to see that with him too, because I think sometimes he tries to hit too many balls the other way. You know, I've always felt he hits 260, 270 with his numbers. You know, fire the hip out, pull the ball. He's going to knock in a lot of runs.
1-1 pitch misses, and Taubensee has to slide over. And the runner on third base, and now he's going to go out for a conference. Game started in the National League. Scott Rowland tied for second with Chipper Jones. I think Castilla doesn't miss much for the Colorado Rockies. And there's that Sosa guy. What's he doing in Chicago?
Hit 2 today. But they lost the game in the 9th inning in an incredibly bizarre way.
Roberts still look over at third for Anderson, and that one's fouled straight back.
Bases loaded, 3-2 count for the Milwaukee Brewers. Cubs with a 2-run lead, and Brant Brown dropped a fly ball in the outfield. Milwaukee scored 3 runs, and look at that. They win 8-7. What a crushing loss that had to be for the Cubs. There's your wild card update with the Mets playing tonight.
That's an opportunity to move in front. They've struggled, though, with the Expos and Marlins this year, and that's who they're playing tonight, Montreal.
The Giants are hanging around, too.
Rowland got that one straight up into the air into short center. Two hits. We go to the bottom of the 4th inning. Phils lead it 4-0.
The 7th inning, Roberto Pedagini, the 2-hole hitter, will lead it off. He's lined into a double play, struck out tonight. Portugal's first pitch bounces up there for ball 1. Will be Pedagini, Casey, and Young, all left-handed batters, as Portugal just had 68 pitches.
That's a remarkable job that he has done tonight. Only 2 hits and 1 walk, and that started the first inning. The walk did.
See if Rowland has room over near the stand, slicing away, and it's out of play. Yeah, last time out he surrendered 12 hits in 4 2/3 innings.
He did not. Last time out, I don't know what it was. He just did not have anything working. And sometimes you go out there and you have those games, but he had been throwing very well, and he just lost everything. Tonight he's been just the opposite. He's been superb.
7 earned runs last time out. Tonight a shutout and another change up and a swing and a miss. 1-2 on Pedagini. Fouled away. think he's used his fastball as well tonight as he can use it too.
Excellent. And it's, you see he'll throw a fastball first pitch sometimes and they're behind it because they're sitting back on a changeup. Then he'll come back with a changeup and they're out in front. Then he comes back with a fastball and freezes them.
And there's a changeup and a late swing foul out of play. Yeah, I mean, as good a changeup as Portugal has, he can't live on it. He's got to use his fastball.
You have to have something to set up that changeup, and that fastball, you got to have something, you throw up there. It doesn't really matter how fast, but it's got to be something that's 10 miles an hour faster than your changeup. And if they don't see that, then there's nothing that you're not changing off of anything.
2-2. He came out and walked the leadoff batter Damien Jackson, and then a line drive double play might have turned the game around for him right there, because that ball would have been trouble. That ball had a chance to go to the wall. It was hit that hard, and Marlon Anderson grabbed it. Missed. 3-2.
Well, because of the 2 double plays, after 5 innings, he had faced only 15 hitters, which is the least amount of hitters you can face in 5 innings.
And he walked him. Well, he was ahead of Pedagini, had 2 strikes on him, and then walks him to lead off the 7th inning. Last year, right around this time, a big night for Curt Schilling. There's that 300 strikeout. Edgardo Alfonso goes down on strikes. Wife Shonda, son Garrick looking on there as Curt Schilling will do the same thing tomorrow night, we hope. Get that 300 strikeout. Not too many guys have ever done that 2 years in a row. And he will be pitching tomorrow night at, what's that place called? Pro Player Stadium in Miami, Florida. Strike called to Casey, who's 0 for 2. He's grounded out and flied out. Schill took an early flight to Fort Lauderdale, so he is already there.
He hadn't done that before, have he?
I don't think so. Ground ball, tough play rolling, and he missed it. Well, you could see that one coming. That ball had all that spin off the bat of a left-hander, and he just didn't catch it. And he should score that one an error.
It had the spin on it, plus it hits the dirt. You're not getting the same hop off of that turf that you do on the dirt. That makes it tough.
He also looked like he was trying to get planted to throw to second.
I mean, there's a difference there where you see him plant that foot just exactly as you said, Wheels. And that ball came up. He just didn't make it. He slapped his glove right after it. He knows he should have had it. And, the thing about it, he does it. So what? He wants that ball again, and he will make the next play.
Well, here's Dimitri Young. The Reds have come after the Phillies in this series in every game. Phils have led in every game, and the Reds have caught them and passed them in every game. Portugal trying to hold them off here. Change up to Young, and it's outside, ball 1. He is grounded out and struck out. So a walk and an error. See, Young has been knocking in runners in scoring position. 2 outs or 2 on and nobody out. Change up, rip the right field. Abreu will take it on 1 hop. They're going to be loaded with nobody out. So the Phillies might get the bullpen up in a hurry. First time the Reds have done anything tonight.
Well, Dimitri Young with men in scoring position, 13 for his last 25. Here he gets a changeup down. He stays back and stays on it, goes down and gets that changeup. Hits it too hard for them to score.
John Vukovic, Chuck Cartier, and Terry Francona look on. Nobody up in the bullpen. Bases loaded. Nobody out for Tomlinson, who struck out twice. Phillies will play the infield a double play depth. Aaron Boone, a right-handed batter, waits on deck. Change up. Anderson bobbles. He'll get 1. Well, Anderson wanted to go for the force at second, but at least he gets 1 out of it.
At least he gets 1. Yorkies now, and Yorkies Perez and Jerry Spradlin now running down in the bullpen to get up. Yeah, that's what Marlon Anderson wanted, to try and get that lead runner to keep the double play in order, or the runner going to second. He just turned and had it in his glove. Luckily made a recovery there and gets 1 out of it.
Phillies are fortunate that was a catcher running, or they might have gotten nobody out of that one. So runners now at second and third with a run in. First run of the game for the Reds. 4-1 Phillies. Aaron Boone, the batter, with the infield back. And he lines one into right field. That's a base hit. Young got a late start from second. They're sending him. He's a dead duck. Out at the plate is Young. He got a real bad jump from second base, and for some reason he just kept on coming. Aaron Boone winds up at second. It's 4-2, but what a break for the Phillies.
And the 17th assist for Bobby Abreu. But Dimitri Young got right by third base, right in front of the cutout, and stopped and looked back. By that time, it's too late. If you're going, you might as well keep going. Abreu with the strong throw. Rico actually looked like he was trying to cut it off. Gary Bennett takes a throw at the line, and Dimitri Young tries to slide around him and can't do it.
Yeah, you're not going to run on Abreu in that spot after you stop. That's for sure.
No. And he looked back like he wasn't sure if it was going to be caught, but he was 3/4 of the way or 7/8 of the way to third base. There was no reason to stop and look back. Had he done that, had the ball been caught, he was going to get doubled up anyway.
Yeah, at that point, you just stop at third, keep your inning alive. Phillies happy tried to score. Good throw by Abreu. 2 outs now, and Boone at second, and Nunnally grounds one to first. Portugal should be out of this with just 2, and he is. Ooh. 2 runs in the inning. 2 hits, 1 error, and 1 man left on base. Phil still lead it by 2. On to turn Dimitri Young around and Taubensee to bat, so he's going to face at least 2 batters, it would appear, in this inning.
Yeah, Vitalico had come into the dugout. Now he's back in the bullpen. He's going to throw some more. You don't really want to get heated up and cool down too much, so he's going to go back there and throw some more.
Dimitri Young is a better left-handed batter. He certainly has more power from the left side. So he takes a strike. He has hit 14 home runs this year, 13 of them left-handed. Young tonight is 1 for 3. Then you see what he's done against left-handed batters. His average is better, but the power numbers are better from the other side. Swing and a miss.
A lot of times you'll see that in switch hitters. They'll have power from one side and a better average from the other.
Chipper Jones is a good example. Guy who has a lot more power left-handed.
Does he, Relaford?
Fly ball, shallow right field. Abreu and Glanville, they've got it surrounded. And Doug makes the play. That's 1 out. So Taubensee will bat now. He's 0 for 3 tonight. He struck out twice and knocked in a run on a ground out. And you wonder if he would go to Vitalico with 2 outs. Hopefully they could be 2 outs and we can get Taubensee out here. You know he will.
I think from a mental standpoint, even if he gets Taubensee out, you know, if you go to your closer, even though it's a 2-run game, I would think with Aaron Boone, right-hander on deck, he would go to Vitalico.
Well, we'll see what happens. You know he'll go to him should Taubensee get on deck. There's Aaron in the on-deck circle. And they are out of left-handed pinch hitters. Well, Taubensee's going to get on. Sefcik cuts it off. Taubensee with a long single. So now we'll see the move for Vitalico.
Francona gets up and heads out.
Yeah, now there's no suspense.
I still want to find out.
Yeah, we'll ask him. Pat Watkins is going to come out and run for Taubensee at first base. There's Watkins, the pinch runner. Ricky Vitalico on his way into the ball game for the Phillies. Phillies with a 4-2 lead. There's 1 out in the 9th. We'll be right back. Terry Francona's made the wave to the bullpen. Vitalico is in the ball game. He's back on the bench, and here's Ricky getting ready. He's picked up saves in his last 2 outings. The first saves he had since he got one against Cincinnati back in April, and then had to go in for that elbow operation. So there are the overall numbers on it, but he's pitched real well the last 2 times out. Picking up a save here last night. 1 inning, 1 walk, and 2 strikeouts. He had an excellent breaking ball here last night, especially his hard curveball.
Well, even though he throws hard, he's not necessarily a power pitcher, and a lot of people, I think, want to put Ricky Vitalico in that mode of being a power pitcher. He can throw it up to 95, but he feels that he is still, you know, not a power pitcher. He's got to use all his pitches, especially, I think, because he has probably better command of his breaking stuff. A lot of times, his fastball, he gets, I think, a lot of times tries to overthrow and ends up leaving that ball up high. He flies open on his fastball.
He was flying open on it last night. You saw in the on-deck circle Brett Boone. There is Brett. He's going to bat for the pitcher Sullivan in the 7-hole. But right now his brother Aaron is up. Aaron is 1 for 3 tonight with an RBI single. Vitalico struck him out last night to end the ball game. He got Brett Boone on a fly ball to center in the inning that he pitched. There's Pat Watkins, the pinch runner, leads off first base. And a fastball comes in low, ball one. Pop-up, right side, long run. Anderson, oh, what a nice play. Marlon Anderson, throwback is wide, backed up, fine play by Bottalico, but a good play by Anderson, 2 outs. What do you think, Mr. Anderson?
I think it was a great catch. He went back. One that made it a tough play is Marlon went back on the ball, and right here he looks at, or right before that, he had looked at Abreu. And then as he turns and throws, it's really a strong throw, but it's an unnecessary throw.
Yeah.
He comes back, he goes back, almost tries to stop a little too early, but does a nice job of catching the ball, but it's not a necessary throw there. Watkins was close to the bag going back, but you don't want to take a chance there.
Keep the force in order this way as Brett Boone comes up to bat. He's had a great season, as you see the numbers there. And Ricky starts him with a breaking ball. This is Brett's second appearance as a pinch hitter this year. He's 0 for 1. So Bottalico needs one more out, and the Phillies can get out of here with 2 out of 3. And their 74th win of the year. Good fastball. Called strike, 0-2. Misses away, 1-2. Good play by Bennett.
So you don't want to get ahead of yourself. Right there, Ricky Bottalico makes 2 good pitches and then tries to overthrow a slider.
Sometimes the adrenaline gets the best of him.
Yep.
Here we go, 1-2. Breaking ball and a beauty. This should end it. Fly ball right field. Bobby Abreu right there. He squeezes it, and the Phillies win. Good ball game here tonight. Ricky Bottalico has picked up 3 saves in his last 3 save opportunities. Good job for Kevin Sefcik with a 2-run triple. Scott Rowland had a great series as the Phillies could have won all 3 games here. They wind up 2 out of 3. Nobody is happier than Bottalico. Terry Francona telling us tonight he knows Bottalico is feeling better about himself because he's starting to get loud again. Bobby Abreu threw a runner out at the plate. So a lot of guys contribute to this one tonight.
Good all-around game.
Phillies win it by a score of 4-2. Mark Portugal the winner. Ricky Bottalico with a save. Back with the wrap right after this. And this one's tough.